Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Edmonds Racing TV. It is our first preview show, so we've changed the show up a little bit. Obviously had our review on Monday, having our preview on a Thursday, leading into the weekend's action. It is, of course, Anzac weekend, a great time to sit back with the family and in awe, in appreciation, in gratitude for those generations of Australians and New Zealanders that fought for the country, that died for the country, and very much set up a foundation of what a magnificent country we live in right now. So we hope you all have a great Anzac weekend. This show is all about trying to hopefully get you a few more winners over the weekend, a little bit more fun, a little bit more joy, and also a great insight for owners and spectators and fans into how the guys are thinking about our runners on the weekend. We're coming off a hot weekend. From last week, the guys trained 5 winners at the Gold Coast. And Trent, you brought up the 100 winners for the season and the fastest time you've done it to date. And you're chasing down the 111, mate, from last season.
Yeah, so hopefully we can knock that over sooner rather than later and then power on and set a bigger target for next year. But it's a nice achievement, and hopefully we can just keep going now.
Yeah, on fire, guys. Absolutely on fire. And Toby, the review show on Monday seemed to go down pretty well. How did you find it?
You know, I think a lot of our feedback was that the show was too long and we spent a lot of time on the review. So it's good to be able to knock that over on Monday. Everyone likes to hear how their horse went or how the stable went and what we thought and where possibly they go next. So I think splitting it down the middle is pretty good, and we can concentrate on the runners this weekend and knock this over and, you know, get this out so the viewing time isn't as great.
Yeah, no, spot on. And I think people that watched the show last week certainly found some value. I mean, well done to Trent. His best bet of the week got up. Thine is the Power. I think she opened up at $3.60 on the afternoon when our show was released. And she was started at $1.80. So those people that watched the show and got on early got some good odds there. And there was also just like an underlying confidence we could feel from you guys. Pocho Duro opened up at 15, started a lot shorter and won. And Jetty too. I think we sort of just got the feeling from last week's preview from you guys that he had some ability and he got up. So hopefully people followed you in there, that's for sure. All right, we'll kick into it. Team, it's Anzac weekend. Like I said, we're Friday at the Gold Coast as is normal at the moment. It's a 9-race card. We have the 10 runners accepted across 5 races. So it'll be a bit harder to pull off the 5 this week. It's a good 4 again. So the track will probably play just as it has the last few weeks. And we kick off early in race 1, the 2-year-old handicap, Toby. 1,400 metres, Loving Miss, number 2, stepping up to 1,400 metres after a nice win at the Gold Coast at her latest start. She's drawn 6 of 9. And for the Archer Park team, how's she sort of trained on since her win?
Yeah, nicely. She her work Tuesday morning was quite good, I thought. Not the best worker in the world, but, you know, certainly does enough to sort of get you interested and performs admirably race day. So she's a far better race day horse than she is worker, as I think we've mentioned a number of times, especially in our updates to the owners. But, you know, we can't fault her. She's ticked over nicely. She looks great still. Out to 1,400 is the distance I think she's looking for. That race is a little messy the other day. You know, there was a lot of pressure, even though she was in a good spot, and Matt McGilvray kept Ricky Palmer wide on Harold Norman's horse. It was sort of, she never had much peace in the run. You know, she's always getting attacked from inside and outside of her. So she's actually done a pretty good job. I think she gets an economical run tomorrow. She'll put these away as well. Yeah,
I was going to ask you. I mean, I felt the other day she was always sort of having to work to hold a position, and then she obviously kicked away and was too good. Glad to hear that she's come through the run well, because it looked like a pretty tough run. And secondly, I just thought over 1,400 metres, I mean, can you allow her to just settle sort of midfield from the barrier, do you think? Or are you going to have to try and be positive as well?
I think we're best off just letting her be where she's comfortable. The rail's out a little bit tomorrow. You'll notice, I'm not sure whether is it 6, is it? Looks about 6 metres to me. So the pattern could change a little tomorrow. Just need to keep an eye on that. And the weather we've had this week, the track's going to be pretty firm. So I don't think we'll be making up a great deal of ground early in the day. It might change around later. But race 1, I think, you want to be sort of sitting on the speed there somewhere and give her that chance to run the 1400 right out, which she will. A few of the others may not. So that's to her advantage. And, I think she's as good a chance as she was last week.
Good chance. Oh, excellent. Well, good luck to the Archer Park team there. That's hopefully a good start to the day. Race 1, Loving Miss. Race 5, a few races later, Trent. Class 3 over 1,800 metres here. You've got number 8, Kasarina Star engaged. She's drawn 9, but she probably comes into sort of 6 of 10. Maddie McGillivray on board. We will do a segment one day of me just trying to say Maddie's name every time because I struggle. Mate, last start winner against the Pattern at Ipswich. She got back and absolutely rattled home over the 1,500 metres. That was 10 days ago. She stirred up 1,800 metres. I looked at her pedigree. I said, how? She's obviously a filly that's looking like she's looking for a trip. But I looked at her pedigree. She's by Star Witness, the one of Coolmore, out of a half to a Manicato Stakes winner. So I thought, gee, where's the stamina coming from? So I looked back. Her 5th dam is the dam of Secretariat. There you go, the big red, the big chestnut, the champion.
Oh, there you go.
And she's big and red too, isn't she,
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, well done. Pedigree guru. No good. So I suppose that's where the staying ability or staying prowess comes from with her. I can't see any reason as to why she can't run well again. I think it's important sort of going up to 1,800 pretty quick, Bruce, that we are just nice and steady on her out, as Matt was the other day. And if they hook on a bit, sort of, that's going to enable her to finish right off again. He's going to need to give her another pretty good ride. And to be fair, as I think we mentioned earlier in the week, she got under our guard a little bit last time. We thought she'd take another run and be primed for this race. So she won sort of a race earlier than we expected, but I can't see any reason as to why she can't race really well again. She looks great. Step up to 1,800, third up so quickly. If I have any reservations, it's that when we done this last time with her, she took a run at 1,800 where she was ridden positively and pulled herself into the ground. She raced quite well on that occasion without winning, and then she came out ridden a lot more negatively in the run and smacked them. So we just want to see her really switch off early and then just enable her to really build into it and get down the middle of the track as she did the other day. And she'll give another good account of herself, but you'll know your fate sort of going over the crossing the first time. If she's nice and settled, she's going to be really strong late.
Good line late. Yeah, very good, mate. Okay, she's a very interesting runner there on Friday, tomorrow. So good luck to all the owners of Kasarina Star. Race 6 is a Class 6 plate over 1,400 metres. I feel like since I've been with you guys, People Few has been running in Class 6 plates over 1,400 metres. He's won his last 3 on end. The last 2 were in the same class, same distance. He's only up a kilo from his last win, 60 kilos. Matt won on him last time as well. Yes, we've got a rough barrier again, Toby, but he has drawn 8, 11 and 13 in his last 3 wins. He's a big hope, I suppose, providing, you feel he's trained on and he's holding his condition well.
Yeah, you're right, Bruce. He's sort of he's fairly deep into his preparation. So at some stage he has to, you'd suggest he's going to, put a bad one in at some stage. But we couldn't fault him. That's why we're running him. We also nominated him for the Tamworth Cup, but we've decided to stay at home for that reason that I just outlined. But he's trained on nicely. He looks great still. The barrier, not concerned about the barrier. There's a bit more tempo in this race this week. So you've got Parko in there. You've got Gary Dowdy's horse. Ricky Palmer's on, I think, Harold Norman's that runs along pretty quick as well. So there's a bit more tempo this week. But so probably going to have to let the jockey decide which way we go. Not going to change things too much, but, obviously with 60 kilos, that if you get that much pressure, it's always difficult to finish off. So, look, we may even have to just take a little trail tomorrow if there's too much pressure, which isn't bad anyhow, and then just put the pressure on from the 600 where if he's had a bit of a blow mid-race or it'll give him a chance to finish off a bit better. So we'll leave that to the jockey, I think. But the horse is going great. We can't fault him, and he gets his chance in another race. Another Class 6 plate, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and listen, you've been spacing his runs, haven't you, too, Tobe? Like, he's been 3 weeks. You haven't knocked the socks off of him, and that's what I've sort of found here. You're getting a lot of starts out of preps these horses, and they're holding their form for a long time. So
he doesn't take much training either, which is good. So even though he's a big enough horse, he's not boldly gross or anything. So less is more with him, we feel, and that seems to work, and it's how it's worked. And obviously found the key to him when Brad Stewart bowled him to the front for us about 3 runs ago.
Nice. Okay. Good luck to the Pep with a few owners there. Going for 4 straight. Exciting times. In the same race, Trent, we have Ocean Addict, the New Zealand staying mare here. She's drawn barrier 5, and Alex Pattis is on board, claiming the 3. So she gets down to a really low weight, 51.5 kilos on her back. She's a stayer resuming, but she has one fresh up at the distance. In a Class 3, I think it was, at the Sunny Coast last prep. So she has done it before, and she obviously gets back and will be hitting the line. What do you think about her tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure. Look, she has won first up and fresh in a prep, obviously in inferior grades to tomorrow. She's drawn soft. She'll be in the second half of the field. And as we just mentioned about the sort of seemingly good amount of pressure, if there's one that's going to be hitting the line, it'll be her with a light weight. Whatever she does tomorrow, she'll improve upon, no doubt, once we step out over further. But it wouldn't surprise me to see her really rip up to the line and run a cheeky race fresh up over 14. As long as she's sort of within striking distance at the top of the straight, she's got a good bit of acceleration, especially early in a prep. So while Peppy's undoubtedly our best of the 2 in that race, this mare, if sort of things go her way in the run, she can... she'll really let down hard. Good each way chance, I feel.
Yeah, nice. Okay, very good. Good luck to the owners of Ocean Addict. Race 8 is for the Usain Bolts of the thoroughbred world, an open handicap over 900 metres around the Gold Coast there. Number 4, Uzmanov, has drawn barrier 8 of 11 for Maddie McGillivray. Handy sprint race, this, guys. Really handy little race, this. But Uzmanov's coming off 2 straight wins. His latest at the same course and distance. Toby been spacing his runs 4 to 5 weeks. And he has one on the good track, and he has one on the soft track last start as well. Just quickly on the track, he'll enjoy it. I think you remember you saying he likes it. He sort of likes it pretty hard.
Sorry, no. If I said that, I think I'd prefer him with the sting out of the track. This guy,
that was my fault, mate. I just couldn't. I was one or the other. I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, not heavy, but I would have preferred him if this track was a dead or a soft 5 or 6, whatever it may be. But he can handle the fast track. And now he spaces his runs. I think he goes into these races on fresh legs. He gets there quite excited, and the adrenaline starts pumping. He runs pretty quick, as you've seen. He beat them out the other day, which is unusual. They're pretty fast horses. Those horses, Boom Chicka Boom and another couple there that go pretty quick. And he matched those horses early, easily too. And even did a bit wrong the other day with Bailey on him, or at his last run, he wanted to wander off on the corner, got around there on the wrong leg a little bit, but was good enough to balance up and beat them. So even though there was a horse getting to him late, that run the other day had a bit more merit to it than it looked. The margin was a little bit flattered by him doing a little bit wrong, especially cornering and getting around there on the wrong leg, then have to change over back to his good leg. So, but on the horse, he's trained on nice. He looks great. I've done a video of him the other day, and I sort of commented that he actually looks big, strong and full, and that's when he races well. He's not much good when he's deep into his prep, when he's lightened off and that sort of stuff. He's sort of it's time for him to have a blow, but can't see why he can't run well tomorrow. But it is a competitive race, and we've got another one that goes pretty quick as well. So it'll be interesting. But we were getting ready for the Bat Out of Hell, which has gone by the wayside. So this is sort of a prize money wise, it's a fair way down from that, but similar type field.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly from barrier 8, this looks like a ton of speed in a 900-meter race. Can you sit 3 deep there at the Gold Coast on the pace and be okay?
Oh yeah, but he can take a trail as well as he did first up there. He came from well back and run slashing time. So either or, he's pretty adaptable. He's a speed type horse in these shorter races, so he's not going to be far away from them. Maybe we just let the tempo and the pressure go, and once he balances up, he'll be really strong because he hasn't crept up much in the weights. This horse, he's sort of well weighted, I feel, to run really well.
To run well, yeah, absolutely. Good luck to the owners there. Great group of owners, races in the Aquas Colours, G1G, Peter Mullen, Mr. Felgate, a lot of great owners in Usmanov. So good luck there, guys. Number 8 in the same race, Trent, Royal Witness. If you thought 8 of 11 was bad, try 9 of 11. He is having a few runs for us up here with the tricolours. James Moss's syndicate colours on, which is great. Really appreciate the support from those guys. He's a super consistent sprinter. This guy's had 5 wins at 1,000 metres. His last 3 he's placed at Randwick, Canberra in an open sprint, and Doomben. He usually settles on the speed, so it's a bit of a tricky gate. But what have you learned about him since he's been in your care the last few weeks?
Still learning about him, really. He's what I could say is off his track work, he's very genuine, and he can really gallop up. He's quite sharp, as you'd expect with a sort of 1,000-metre sprinter. One thing I will say about Queensland tempo of races, we've had a lot of horses come from down south who, over 1,000 metres, say, whether it be Sydney or Melbourne, they lead comfortably and can scoot along. Up here, and this sounds really silly, but the race shape is completely different. They go even quicker. So we found that some from down south don't have that natural tempo. But this guy from Barrier 9 tomorrow, I think it'd be silly to try and change his pattern. We'll go forward on him. Where he ends up in the run, whether that means he's in 3 wide line and then has to just navigate around the corner, remains to be seen. But liked him since he's arrived. He hasn't put a foot wrong. Looks great. He arrived looking great. Eats well. Been training really well. So happy with him. If he drew soft, I'd be pretty bullish that he'd be right in the finish. Just going to need a little bit of luck to get a good enough run and be clean out and sort of beat those inside horses out that are pretty quick. Obviously, Usmanov drawn just inside him, who will hold his own from that barrier, no doubt. Boom Chicka Boom just inside Usmanov. So seeing him probably 3 wide line and just has to navigate around that corner, which can be tricky here first time at 900 at the Gold Coast, but he'll balance up and hit the line hard. He's in great order, and he'll race really well. They're both really good chances in that race, I feel.
Yeah, no, very good. All right, good luck to James Moss and all the owners there with Royal Witness. Looking forward to those colours going around for the stable for the very first time. Really exciting. All right, lucky last race at the Gold Coast is race 9. You've got the deck stacked here, guys. A very, very good little race here, quality-wise. You have 4 accepted. Toby up the top. Number 2 is Zack Attack, resumed in really strong fashion last time out. She's drawn nicely, and she has 1 second up before, building a nice little record, this 3-year-old filly.
Look, she rated really highly the other day as well. Like that was a fairly solid win. And to be truthful, I think we were all thinking she'd need the run, and whatever she'd done last start, she would improve. But she bounced out of that fairly pedestrian-looking trial to do that, and we think she's come on actually. So I'd suggest she can run well again. Her track work's been sharp. She's pretty sharp filly, well-bred filly. So there's no reason why she can't win again. Probably a little bit of weight, She's got 58.5. That's a bit of a concern for a 3-year-old filly, but it is what it is, and she'll race really well. She's drawn softly enough to get up on the speed there and give a real good sight.
Yeah, nice. Okay, very good. Number 5, Trent Brooker, quality horse. Michael Cahill aboard, obviously competing to Coolmore in the spring. I think you guys made him one of the horses to follow from the trials. So obviously he's pleasing you at home, but barrier 7. You're sort of looking for that emoji that's like.
Yeah, so barrier 17, but there's only 10 runners, so he'll be widest runner in any case. Barrier 10. I don't think we'll probably be positive. Looks to be pretty good speed in this race. So my suggestion is that they will bust up a bit and he'll be in the first sort of 4 or 5 in running, and hopefully sort of one off the fence and waiting to pounce. He's a horse that we've had a massive rap on throughout his whole career. And I'm going to chip Blair Gibson from Brizzy Races about this, because he said in his trial review that Ruka's time to step up because he's been disappointing. Well, to be fair, the only 2 disappointing runs he's put in have been at Eagle Farm, one where he was slaughtered, and the second one, the track was diabolical the other day. So I think he can bounce back. He just needs luck in running. And as you've seen, we've put him into the Coolmore at basically I think it was his 3rd race start, so or 4th race start, something like that. So that's the esteem that we hold him in. Form around him from sort of that last preparation is good. Nidorp, who's running in the Metro North zone, has smashed them the first 2 runs of the preparation. So form around him is good and strong. All of those sort of 3-year-old races that have been in the Metro North zone, similar form around him as I mentioned. So if he drew really soft, I would say that he'd take a huge amount of beating. He's just going to need that little bit of luck. I still think he's probably the one to beat, to be fair. Just needs a good ride early. Can't fault him. Really exciting horse on the way forward. So looking forward to seeing him finally go around again and getting away from Eagle Farm to improve that record.
Yeah, very good. All right. And Toby, you agree with that? Ruka would be the sort of best winning hope of our 4 in the race?
I suppose the only concern I would have with Ruka is if this track's really firm. I think he's probably got around Moonee Valley, love Moonee Valley on the Strath there, and he's run a couple of disappointing runs. I think he won his first start in a race on quite a heavy track at Ipswich, won really easily, and as I mentioned, both disappointing runs where once he was ridden poorly, second one was very firm. So if this track's really firm tomorrow, that could take his finish away from him a bit, if I could say that. But certainly he's a horse with a good future. And, barrier, is it Zack Attack or him? They're both really good, both really good, promising 3-year-olds, and they're going to get their chance at some stage. Whether tomorrow's Ruka's day or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, very good. Good little race. The 2K Thoroughbreds team have a couple of runners accepted as well here. Number 7, Batama. She's drawn 7, probably comes into barrier 5 of 10, Trent. You rode a Cole the other day and she found the line, and she I think we all thought follow her into her next run because, she might be prove very hard to beat, but obviously she's running up against some pretty talented horses here.
Yeah, she struck a really strong race. The guys want to go around so she can run. I think we won't hustle and bustle her up onto the speed. Again, we'll sort of just try and ride her that little bit off them, whether that, she'd be in the first half, but not belting out to the lead or anything, because there's good speed sort of drawn inside. So she's going well. I just think she probably has her work cut out to beat the other 2. If we could have found an easier race for her, I thought she would nearly be winning pretty quickly, but that is what it is. Look, she'll still run well. Whether or not she has the class these days of Zack Attack and Ruka, probably not. So she's there to race well. I just think that the other 2 are probably a little bit ahead of her.
Understood. And then Tobe, the other 2K runners, Champagne Jet, she's drawn out there with Ruka. Listen, she's probably hasn't, the last 9 months hasn't been in the sort of same form, but what do you make of her? She's sort of come off a 10-week freshen up, I think it is, and had a trial. And what do you make of her?
Just comes off a foot issue that took quite a while to come right. She trialled up reasonably well the other day, but still got a bit of improvement to go. So whatever she does tomorrow, she'll improve on. I would suggest from the barrier, she's a forward running filly anyway. So I'd suggest she could, roll up and sort of get in front of Ruka there somewhere. And as Trent mentioned, there's good speed here. So the race should spread out a bit, and if she can get a run there, she's a place chance, I'd suggest. But whatever she does tomorrow, she'll improve on.
All right, team, we'll move on to Saturday at the Sunshine Coast, where it is a soft 6. Now, you guys accepted 3 here. You accepted with 6 here across 3 races. But amongst barriers and a few different things, we probably won't see them all go around. So let's have a quick look at the 2-year-old, maiden over 1,200 metres, huge field here. You had number 6, Comfortably Numb engaged, barrier 8. Number 10, Valletta Knight, who drew awkward, so he won't run. And number 17, which was Wavemaker, Brad Stewart. So just a quick touch on Comfortably Numb. Trent, drawn 8. Anthony Allen, well beaten on his debut, mate. I think you were saying if he draws better in the race at Ipswich, he goes there. But let's say he doesn't, and he does end up running here at the Sunshine Coast. What did you make of his last start? And obviously he's doing enough at home to say he needs another run this prep.
Yeah, look, I think I just mentioned, just forget about it. The 2 stablemates we had 2 horses in the race, and they both got in each other's way, and it got really messy. So Ryan wasn't overly hard on him up the running, and hence the result. He's going as good as he ever has, so that's good. And look, it's a nice big fair track, so he should get a good crack at them on Saturday.
Perfect. All right. I think these markets are up, and he's $41, so he might be worth a little something each way on the back of Trent's comments there about, just forget his debut and look to see a much improved performance this time around. Number 17, Toby, is Wavemaker. Brad Stewart on one of your favourite hoops. Drawn 7, probably comes into sort of 5 of 16. He's opened up at $8 with Sportsbet, this dissident colt. He was well supported on debut, and I think you made him like your best of that week even. So obviously showing you plenty at home. Can he bounce back? Is he going well at home too?
Yeah, look, we were forced to run him that day, so a bit disappointed in ourselves for doing that because it looked like it was going to, the whole place is going to get shut down then. So we thought we'd run them all and see what happened, and he drew terribly at Beaudesert. It got outside horses and ran away from them and got on the wrong leg. He got beaten 100 yards, but I'm not concerned about that. The horses. He's one of our sharper 2-year-olds. I think he's a nice horse for the future, whether it's this prep or not. He's got good ability, and from that barrier, I'd suggest he can beat these horses. I think it's a fairly. I'm not saying it's an ordinary lot of horses. There's a little bit of form there, but certainly the that quality of field. If we line them up through our other 2-year-olds that have won, this guy's got to be right in the finish. I feel.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so look out for Wavemaker to be really competitive there at the Sunshine Coast. Race 8, you had Mr. Bellagio engaged, guys, but he's going to wait a week and go to a more suitable race next week. And then race 9, you had Usmanov and Royal Witness. They both drew awkward, and you decided to run them both at Gold Coast there. So just a couple of runners potentially at the Sunshine Coast. Listen, Ipswich Sunday, acceptances are not out as yet, but I thought I'd just quickly run through the runners, and if each of you could pick out one that, provided they draw well, they could run really well and one to follow. We've got Beats Me, Brocky, Rothman, Unconditional, Wookie, Just Jesse, Cuban Mint, Decisive Heart, Shopping Paradise, Broken Windows, Hard Labour, Groupthink, and Valletta Knight. Toby, which of those should we be watching closely Sunday?
I thought Brocky is a logical one. He was super the other day, and he gets into a similar type race. As long as he just relaxes a bit, he'll run on gamely and should be quite difficult to beat.
Toby's gone with Brocky at Ipswich. Trent, who do you want to be following and watching closely at Ipswich for the team at home?
I'll say one out of the same race as Brocky last start, Decisive Heart. She was first up for a while, off a freshen up. Improved from the run. I think if she draws soft, she's going to take an absolute stack of beating.
Yeah, I remember you guys being pretty confident last time that she'd run well and very happy with the run. So Decisive Heart, the other to follow out of Ipswich. All right, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Clinton Shipsey from Sportsbet for you guys to give him your absolute best for the weekend. Have a great one, everybody.
Thanks, Bruce. First of all, again, congratulations to Toby and Trent and the rest of the team at Edmonds Racing on your 100th winner. Last week, a huge effort, boys, so congratulations on that. Certainly seems like you're on track for getting your record 111, so kudos to that, boys. Well done. All right, and as for the Sportsbet charity tipping competition, Trent, mate, you broke your maiden. Well done with Fine is the Power.
Yeah, Bloody good. About time.
Well done. So the Finals of Power come through at $1.95 on the top total at Sportsbet. So that's $195 towards your charity of choice, mate, the motor neurone disease. And you're certainly closing the gap with Toby there, who currently sits on $455 towards Braveheart. So we'll roll into Toby, mate, your best bet for the weekend. Thanks, bud.
Mine, I'm going wide and going to Wavemaker at the Sunshine Coast.
Wavemaker at the Sunshine Coast. Brilliant. And Trent, for you?
I'll kick off early. We'll go race 1, Loving Miss, Gold Coast on Friday. That's me.
Race 1, Loving Miss for the Archer Park team on Friday there. So there you have it, the best bets for the weekend from the guys. We'll see you next week. And as always, gamble responsibly.